And Ernie's going to throw out the first pitch. Accompanied, make sure he gets out there. Lori and Leda are going to make sure he knows where the mound is. That's important. And he'll throw out the first pitch. Then throughout the game, Phil Roboto. Phil's right over there. And his two grandsons. Phil's going to be the bench coach. So if the manager gets tossed, Phil's in. And Max and Jack Gruber, right, are going to be the Bat Boys. And that's very, very exciting, and it's a fun thing to do. So we have a lot of Faulkner stuff going on tonight. And so, but in order to get started, Ernie, are you about ready? Yeah, I think that was a yes. Come on up here, and I'm going to have you sit right here in the star seat. Now, the guy that's in the audience that I'm going to introduce, who's watching you closely, Ernie, is Paul Cooley. Paul Cooley, who likewise was a softball coach at Cassadaga Valley. Was telling me some war stories about you. So this is going to be very interesting, and I look forward to you making sure you tell the truth. That's a smile, I think. So Ernie, I'm going to hand you the mic and give us a little bit of a background, kind of, where you were born and kind of how you found yourself to the Faulkner Central School System.
Born in Falconer, went to school in Falconer, ended up teaching in Falconer. And I started out coaching JV baseball for 11, 12 years, and then the softball opening came up in 1988, 89, and I took the opportunity to coach that team. Our first year, Lori and Heather Lefford, they're both Hall of Famers, were on that team. And the reason that sticks out to me, because we went to regionals and the way we lost it. We had a one-run lead going into the bottom of the seventh, and runner on second and third, 2 out. It was a pop-up. Second baseman says, I got it. Right fielder says, she's got it. Second baseman, I got it. Lo and behold, it falls in.
Oh, no.
We lose.
Oh,
And that bus ride, Lori will never forget. You could have heard a pin fall all the way from Rochester to Falconer.
A little bit about your background, growing up in Faulkner. When was your first kind of recognition that athletics might be part of your career?
I played everything in high school. Football, basketball, baseball, track. I just love sports. My father was a pretty good athlete himself, and I followed him wherever he played, and got into fast pitch softball with Tony Franchina. He's here, and we had some pretty good teams. And I don't know. I just love sports. To this day, I still do.
Did you paths cross with Hubedians at all? Was you part of? Remember much at all?
No. The only thing I remember about Hugh Beatty, I know the name. We had a little league field named after him, and now it's all houses.
Where would that be exactly?
senior houses, Ernie.
Yeah, senior housing.
Just briefly, my own personal reaction. Hugh Imus, who some of you know, I played Little League with Hugh Imus, and this was, gosh, back in the early 60s. But we played up in Willard Park, or Willard Street. Yeah. And I always saw this guy up in center field with a hat on, and it turned out to be Hugh Began watching his grandson pitch. And I remember one day getting his autograph because my dad said, go get his autograph because he's an important guy. I have no idea at the time, now I do. It was kind of a connect. So, what did your dad do for a living?
He was a superintendent of Faulconer Plate Glass.
Okay. For the Turners.
Yep, Dick Turner.
And so as you got involved in coaching, and you mentioned assistant baseball coach. Who was the baseball coach?
Danny Mazzaros.
Tell me about Denny. We got time. We have time.
Denny was never late for a meal.
Quite a
But when
character,
it
huh?
came to practice,
Am I allowed to sign up?
where's Coach? All right, we can practice ourselves. Coach will be out at the end of practice, he would say. Denny was never too early for anything.
So you had 12 years under him. What did you learn from him that you applied to your softball days? Again, we have time.
Statute of limitations is passed, sir.
That's a hard one.
We're here to talk about softball and the legacy of softball. And did you have a particular style? Because Lori's going to have a chance to talk about you here.
Yeah, I believed in fundamentals, and in the springtime in the gym that we had to practices we had, we worked a lot on fundamentals. We even had sliding practice in the gym. We over at Fenner, we were able to have a pitching machine, and we were able to take batting practice because they had this. To divide the gym was a material that came down. It wouldn't damage anything, so. But I preached fundamentals and the right way to play the game.
So you talked about a game which you always remember the game you lost. Obviously, you won an awful lot of games. Can you talk a little bit about your coaching career? That softball coaching career?
Yeah, we won a few games, but it wasn't me. I tell you, I've had some really, really good athletes that played for me, and they were easy to coach. Several of them played in college. Lori played. Another girl that I don't know why, Lori Graham played at Canisius and played a regional game in the College World Series. Lori probably has most of our record, I'll bet anything. Home runs, RBIs, she was something else. Left-hand batter, and every time we went to Dunkirk, they changed the ground rules on us because she didn't hit high balls, they were line drives, and she was quick. And, so everything that could have been a home run became an automatic double.
When did you start in the Falconer Central School System? Late?
68.
68. So I think, Leda, help me out here in looking at your biography. 1974 may have been the first year of Falconer Softball. You played on it, Leda, or I'm looking? That's right. So 1974. Now, I see Scott Kinberg and other people here. 1974, today's 2024. That's a 50-year run. 50-year legacy of Falconer Softball. Do you have a sense, Ernie, from your history back, how that really came to be? Is that Title IX?
Probably, yeah.
Were there highlights then, Ernie, in your kind of career?
Yeah, there's all kinds of highlights. Different girls each year that came out and performed to their best abilities. And we had a lot of wins, not that many losses.
I got to tell this story because I think it's important because Paul Cooley's here, and I interviewed him yesterday, and I asked him about you specifically. I said, Ernie Strickland's going to be here. Please come, Paul. You can listen to him. You can tell the stories. And he said, well, there was one thing Ernie always pulled that was always special, and nobody really picked up on it for many years. But we worked on counterbalancing this. honoring this particular Ernie Strickland Falconer event. And it normally happened when there was less than 2 outs, people on first and third, and you would then order your player to bunt to third base, and of course the fielder would pick it up. By the time they fielded it, played, the runner from third would go home, and it would be a score. Because Paul said that Ernie always pulled that off, and it really bothered Paul at Casadega Valley. So one game, he was very detailed about this. He goes, they've been working on it for months and weeks, perhaps, that when Ernie's going to pull that off, we know he's going to pull it off, first and third, less than 2 outs. And he bunted this one time to his third baseman, Michelle Bauer by name, and she managed to pick up the ball, glove the ball, and then threw, not really, to first base, kept it in her glove, and then managed to get the person running in, breaking in from third. Now that may be apocryphal, but he claims that happened, and that in fact was reality. Do you have any recollection of that? You had a reaction.
Yeah, my reaction is we practiced that play too after that. It was a good play.
I remember because the only thing was he said, "Damn you, Cooley."
For those that didn't hear that, Paul's response was he remembered that specifically because Ernie said, "Damn you, Cooley," for actually calling that play. He also went on to say, and this is a real tribute to you, that I think you beat him. I'm going to get this confused. Maybe you beat Casadega Valley in the maybe sectionals, and then they beat you in the regionals, and then they went to states. This is 1991. I may have gotten that.
You got this backwards.
Backwards, okay.
That's all right.
You won one first, then Paul, but they went to the states in 1991, and then you actually got in a car and drove out on your own to watch the game. That is a remarkable statement.
Yeah. Well, he's a great guy. I lived in Sinclairville when we were first married, and I student taught at Casadega, and I got to know Paul way back, and then coach against each other, and he was a fundamentalist too, and he was a very good coach, and I respected him a whole lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ernie Strickland.
Oh, thank God.
Good job, sir.
Leda, why don't you come up? Leda Peterson, she's a member of the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, and in 1974 played on the very first Falconer Softball team 15 years ago. I won't mention it. So tell us a little bit what you remember, if anything, about how that team sort of got created, because there was no such team.
Well, it was Title IX just came into play that year, and so they had the basketball team and the softball team, and I believe track, and I don't know. It was just the very, very beginning.
Did you get a sense that the school? I mean, was there any reluctance at all? I mean, I know they had to have the team, but
No, there was no reluctance with Falconer. I know a lot of friends that went to Jamestown High School, and that didn't get in until years later.
yeah.
So there was no reluctance with Falconer.
What was tied? This again, 74, brand new, first year. Well, who were the opponents?
Well, we had Southwestern. Southwestern. You know, if anybody's from Falconer, you know Falconer and Southwestern. So, I think there was a team from Randolph. I don't know. It was pretty. It was within the area.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, that was 50 years ago.
50 years?
Yeah.
So, who was your coach?
Her name was Laura Lee Sparks. She was a Southerner. You guys remember her at all? I don't know. She was only there for a few years. So she took control of our softball game.
Do you remember some of the players on that first year?
We had Judy Mitchner, George Stenstrom, Judy Mitchner. Let's see. Gosh, it's so hard to remember back then. Kathy Deering wasn't old enough yet to play with us, I don't think. We had a Seastead that played with us too. And I can't remember all the girls. 50 years ago, the kind of memory goes a little bit. So.
You know, I think just for the record, I am looking at your Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, and Leda Peterson might be the finest female athlete ever produced in Chautauqua County. She was a superb performer in various sports throughout her career, and in all likelihood is the only local woman ever to play for a professional team sport, having played softball for the Buffalo Breskies. How did that happen?
Well, my dad saw a small article in the paper that there was going to be a tryout for the Buffalo Breskies, and he said to me, he showed me the article, and I said, well, what do you think? Do you think we could do this? He says, let's give it a try. So he took me to all the tryouts. They kept calling me back, and that's how it all started. There was about 150 girls that were trying out, and from all around the area in Buffalo and Rochester. They had already picked most of the team. I found out later it was a publicity stunt.
Oh, jeez.
But I was the only one picked out of the 150, so that was pretty cool.
And that during the year, she played 114 games, was second on the team, and she hit, which was second on the team for that number of games, 16 doubles, 28 runs, fourth on the team. Her lone home run was a grand slam. She had a .945 fielding average and twice broke up no-hitters by legendary pitcher Joan Joyce. Now, you got to tell me about Joan Joyce. For those who are old enough like me, she was iconic.
She's probably the best softball pitcher that ever came out of the United States, if not the entire world. She was totally awesome. You were shaking when you were going up against her. You just wanted to at least touch the ball somehow, because sometimes it went so fast you didn't know what that. She was good. She was the best. She had every pitch imaginable. Her knuckleball, I stayed away from. I wouldn't touch it because it was dancing all over the place, and I didn't want to look like I was swatting after a fly. So if she was going to strike me out on that, so be it. But my first hit off her, I pulled her down the line for a double. My second hit that I got was also a double or a single down the line. So I pulled her.
Yeah.
I was a pole hitter. So.
And Joan, for those that don't know, in the male world, Eddie Feiner, was that really terrific fast pitch softball. Joan Joyce was certainly as good as him, but on the female side.
Yeah, look up Joan Joyce online. You'll see hundreds of articles on her and what she did. She was phenomenal, and she just passed away a couple years ago, which really saddened me. She was a true icon, and she was a very, very nice person.
Time's not going to permit us to go through this many, many pages of Leda Peterson, rock star, Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, but thank you for coming today. That's terrific, and with her two brothers. Back there, yeah. They're signing.
Yeah.
They're signing your autographs back there. Lori, come on up, Lori.
Am I one?
Thank you, Leda.
Katie Pete.
Hey.
Hey, you defeated an elite pitcher there.
Perfect. And Lori Franchina came all the way from Massachusetts? Rhode Island yesterday to get here today and to have a family reunion.
Yeah.
It's super. So talk to me a little bit about what Falconer Softball has meant to Lori Franchina.
When Petey was starting in 1974, I was 2. So God bless her. But I started in 8th grade on varsity softball and starting shortstop. So it was really a little difficult because the seniors were not willing to let their other senior get bumped out by an 8th grader. So it was a little tension at first, but it took off. They liked that I could stop the ball and throw to first.
What position was your principal position?
Shortstop.
Shortstop?
Oh, Western New York shortstop.
That's where the principal player always plays, shortstop.
Sure.
Yeah. Batting order?
Probably 3 or 4.
So what's your sense of Ernie Strickland?
He was my coach. My Mary Jane Pond coached my first, well, it would be 3 years. I played varsity for 5. So Mary Jane Pond coached for 3, and then Ernie coached, I believe, my junior and senior year.
Any reaction to what kind of guy he was? He's right over there. He's long.
Yeah. No, he did. He worked on the fundamentals, which, Heather, me, that's Heather Lefford, Kathy Sadowski was second base, Vanstrom was first, and Mary Fails behind the plate. So a lot of it was just skill set. We had great skill set, but we were pushed to not be satisfied with the way we were playing, but play better.
You remember Paul Cooley?
Yeah. It was always tough going up there. We knew we were going to be coached, maybe out-coached.
Tony!
Well, you have that on film? I just want to know. Is that
It's recording.
Just had to throw something in there. Can't say all good.
That's all right. Tell the truth.
So, Lori, you won all kinds of distinctions, and you're on the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame for many reasons. Why don't you give the audience a little bit of your kind of a biography here, an autobiography?
So I started, like I said, in 8th grade. Played through my senior year. Went on to play at, when I was 16, and 17, I played for the Lady Shamrocks out of Tonawanda, New York. And very unfortunate that I didn't play with Leda Peterson at that time because she was going out and I was coming in. So our coach in Buffalo for the Lady Shamrocks was Larry O'Connor. And he basically said, you can do it. And I had no confidence that I could fill Leda Peterson's shoes. So I went on to take over her starting position.
Same position, huh?
Yeah, shortstop.
So there's a continuation. Leda
Yep.
Peterson, Lori Franchina. I love it.
Yep. Then I went on to play at Eastern Connecticut State University. I played there. I played 4 years, both basketball and softball. Basketball, we went to 2 Final Fours, won Little East Conference Championships 4 times, and then Eastern softball was ranked in the top 5 in the country for many, many years. And I ended up going to 3 national tournaments. Took 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It only got worse.
And you've got, again, the resume is so long here on you, Lori. Aside from being an All-American softball player at Eastern Connecticut State University, where you also played basketball. Mm-hmm. And on the diamond, you were named to 8 All-New England teams in her career, and ranks as of 2015, when this was written, among the program's top 10 in walks, stolen bases, hits, at-bats, runs, and single-season stolen bases.
That's it.
And at Faulkner, a little bit earlier in 1990, you were awarded co-winner of the Faulkner High School Most Outstanding Female Athlete, earning letters in 4 sports.
Yep, 13 varsity letters total, because I started in 8th grade. Anyway, the outstanding female athlete was a very honorable and memorable moment because they, how they started off, and they started off saying it was unanimous, that this was known from the very beginning 4 years ago, and just kept saying it's unanimous. So Heather Lefford and I are sitting there looking at each other, and all of a sudden he goes, the winners are, and it said Lori Franchina and Heather Lefford, and I was like, well, that's why it was unanimous. We looked at each other because we're both sitting there with animosity going, I won, you won, you won, I won. So, yeah, it was unanimous, all right. So, yeah, that's Heather.
That's great.
Rest in peace.
So what's the question I should be asking you, Lori Franchina? So you were driving out here from Rhode Island. You were thinking, maybe he'll ask that question.
I don't know.
Who's your favorite dad?
Yeah. Well, I became the athlete I am because of my dad.
Yep.
I followed him around, and if he was wearing a red tank top, so was I. And if he had gray shorts on, so did I. So I think I was the second son. My sister was the only daughter. But no, I mimicked him. His soft hands coming across. Just sliding his toe across second base, just making the turn. Double play. And then flag football, he was a quarterback, number 25, and he led the league. I think they used to call him swivel hips, but not quite sure.
He's laughing, by the way, for the camera. Tony's laughing over there.
Yep.
Yes, Scott.
Yeah, so I was 20 years old. We had just gotten back from Florida. We drove vans, so we didn't have a plane ride or a bus ride. It was vans. So really tight quarters for almost 48 hours of driving from Florida to Eastern Connecticut. And we were still scheduled. We were supposed to have Sunday off, but we led into a Sunday drive day. So we really didn't technically have it off. And we were scheduled for Monday practice at 3:30 in the afternoon. And probably by 3:40, I was hit in the face with a bat, full swing, and it was released. So it hit the left side of my face, and I suffered 34 facial fractures, 5 breaks. So right now I have 5 plates, 10 screws in the left side, pretty much. They rebuilt my nose. Not too bad. Yeah. It was something that I had to get back in the weight room because you couldn't clinch. You couldn't really strain to do anything. A lot of movement, like being in condition and shape to be able to throw and stuff. And it all takes like your shoulders and your neck and everything and your facial muscles. You have no idea like what it takes just to smile after that. So did a lot of exercises with my tongue to press up against the roof of my mouth that was shattered. So there was a lot that went into the recovery, but then I came back, and within 7 months, I was back on the field and I became the All-American.
Falconer toughness right there.
And to give some more detail, the accident left her with 34 fractures, including a shattered left cheek, 2 breaks in her nose, a broken palate, broken sinus cavities, and a couple of broken teeth. She required 1 major surgery in which 3 metal plates were inserted into her left cheek and 2 more in her right, and a screw inserted in her upper jaw. Whew. And she came back to be an All-American. That's an unbelievably inspiring story, Larry.
Thanks.
And speaking of inspiration, we're going to see Ernie throw out the first pitch in just a few seconds. Thanks, everybody. I really, really appreciate this.
First pitch is Ernie Strickland. Please welcome Ernie Strickland to left field. Falconer Central School Softball Coach will be coming to Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame members Leda, Peterson, and Lori.
Can I go on the field?
Hold on, Ernie. Wait till they get by you. Here we go.
And finally, for our third and final first pitch is Natalie from